What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the Justin Hawk Smith channel. You are tuning in for episode 2 of the Daytona truck build. Alright guys, so in today's episode, the passenger side is completely drilled out. So that's pretty much all today's video is going to be, is mounting up the coilover buckets from PMF suspension. I'm going to go ahead and grab that and show it to you. Put it on. This thing weighs like 500 pounds. So we got the PMF HD coilover buckets completely powder coated. Sorry that they're all dirty. But anyway, so I put them, they use 3 bolts from like the factory holes. So it's gonna be using this top hole and then this bottom hole and then this one. So I had to drill that hole, and this hole. So I am going to go ahead and do like a little time lapse of me bolting that up, and then we will have one side completely bolted up. But first, I kind of want to go over how I drilled the holes in the frame, because I'm sure if any of you are thinking about doing the coilover buckets, like the complete fabricated coilover buckets, they have 2 different kinds. They have the HD coilover buckets from PMF, and then PMF also makes just like a factory style. I don't know if you have to drill any holes for the factory style, but for these HD buckets, you do in fact have to drill. How many was it? I think I had to drill 4. No, I had to drill 3 holes. I had to drill 3 holes in the frame, which doesn't sound really bad, but that frame, I don't know, I hate drilling holes, and I've always had a hard time drilling holes like through a frame and stuff. But I wanted to go over what I done to get the holes drilled. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this baby up on here so y'all can see it. So get me a washer. I'm down here. I'm getting the bolts. So get me a bolt and a washer, and then pick this baby up. See, I don't think it really matters which bolt I do first, so I'm just gonna do that one. Put him up there, grab me another bolt. Okay, so now that I've got 2 bolts kind of pressed in there, should be able to grab this 3rd one. So I've got those 3 bolts in there. And then there's one that goes on the bottom. But I just wanted to quickly show you all. So I put those 3 bolts in, which use factory bolt holes. And there's one down here in the bottom, which also uses a factory bolt hole. And then you have to drill this hole, and this hole. So once you get those 3 holes drilled, then you're pretty much done. I spoke to Trevor at PMF, and there are 7 bolts, because he doesn't have any directions for these. For whatever reasons, they just send you the $900 PMF HD buckets with no installation instructions. So, I mean, whack! Anyway, so what I've done was I used a step bit right here. So I just used this step bit. So what I've done, hold on. Let me grab the other tools before I start talking. So I used the step bit, and then I used this to mark it. So what this is, it's a spring-loaded punch and it just pretty much makes your, your little pilot dot. So then, whenever you start your drilling, it works perfectly. So I done that. So what I done was, theoretically, I figured it needs to be pressed up against the frame best as possible. So I tightened up. I put in all of the bolts with the nuts on the back just all loose. And then I tightened up the bottom bolt pretty snug, and then I tightened up this bolt, and then I went to this bolt and then that bolt. And then after I got them all snugged up, I just went to town on all of them and sent them home with the Ugga Dugga. So then I figured once that's on there completely tight, that's where it's supposed to be. That's where it was fabricated and built to be. So then I went through here with a paint marker and marked all of my center holes. Went through here with my center punch, punched a dot right in the center of each one. Then I took the bucket off of the truck, and then I grabbed this thing. I'm sure this is not necessary, but I used this DeWalt jackhammer with a pointy attachment. And so I started it with the step bit and got, just like a little hole going. And then I went on here and I put this point inside that hole, and it literally drove through the frame a little bit. And then that helps the step bit cut through the frame a little bit easier so that it doesn't just get dull. Also use PB Blaster. So after I hammered on with this for, I don't know, like 5 seconds straight, it made it like, it made it the shape of this. It's like a diamond. And then this will cut through a diamond shaped hole a lot better than through a circular hole. So then I would get rid of the diamond shape by using this and cut through a little bit more. Then I would use this again, hammer on it. Then I would do this again, then hammered on it. And then the last try with this step bit would actually poke through. And once there's a hole with these step bits, guys, these step bits will freaking go hard. These things will cut through whatever. As long as there's a hole already there, you can make it bigger and bigger and bigger very easily. So definitely recommend using a step bit and some sort of air chisel or jackhammer with a pointy attachment. I think that made it a whole lot quicker. I got those 3 holes drilled in probably, I don't know, 7 minutes. So yeah. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get all the bolts in, get this baby tightened up, and show you what it looks like. I went ahead and sanded down the whole frame in this area, and then hit it with some primer. It's like a stop rust primer, and it's just supposed to keep rust from coming back. And then I just hit this with just some black paint in the areas where the bucket was going, because I haven't got in the Rhino liner, and I haven't decided really if I want to paint it or do the Rhino liner bed liner. It's like a 2K hardening bed liner on the frame. I haven't decided what I wanted to do yet, but I did want to go ahead and get these buckets mounted up, and then I can always just mask off the bucket and shoot the frame, and you'll never know the difference. So I've got that protected and stuff on the back side, and now I'm just going to go ahead and bolt this bucket completely up, and then we'll see what she looks like. So we've got one of the buckets on. I'm having some trouble with this top bolt. The hole, it goes through. Now, well, you can't even see it, but it's like, it goes through right in the round part of the frame. So I'm having trouble getting it to, I can't get the nut on the back. So I'm gonna have to call Trevor from PMF, and hopefully he can help me out. But the truck is slowly coming along. The buckets look awesome. I can't wait to get everything on. The rear axle and the leaf springs should be done. The rear axle is already powder coated. It's almost back together, and then the leaf springs are at powder coat right now. So we should be picking up the leaf springs within the next week, and we should have the rear end completely back together except for the shocks and the rear axle truss, hopefully within the next week or two. I'm waiting on my blocks from Stryker and my U-bolts, and then whenever I go pick up my blocks and my U-bolts, we're going as well to pick up the cradle, which will then be bolted right here in the center. Gonna go ahead and throw up a picture of the cradle right here. This is without the faceplate, of course, and without powder coat. But we'll be going and picking up the traction bars in the rear and the 4-link arms in the front, which will look like this, and have the faceplates and all that. And then we should be ready to go back together. So hopefully, we're gonna make it to Daytona. I mean, we've already booked our condo and all that stuff. Already bought the ticket for Daytona. Hopefully it doesn't get canceled. Even if it does, your boy's still gonna be down there. Yeah, so that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video. I know it was a short one, guys, but I just wanna get a little bit of content out there. We are still working on the truck. I've been super busy, color matching mirrors, building taillights, headlights, third brake lights, all that jazz, and working, of course, as well. So the truck is slowly but surely coming along. All I'm pretty much waiting on is just parts, and then getting the parts to powder coat. The lift should be done at Striker hopefully within the next couple of weeks, so then we can get it off to powder coat and get Brad to knock it out and then put it back together. So thank you guys so much for watching today's episode number 2. I'm gonna try to do one of these every week or every week and a half or so, pretty much just as parts come in. In the next couple of weeks, like I said, we should be getting all of the parts in. So there's gonna be maybe even 2 or 3 episodes a week, because we're gonna be getting a lot of parts in for this truck and finally putting it back together. So like I said, we've got the axle will be done. The rear axle should be done and back together. I'll go pick it up within like a week. Sometime this week, probably Monday, Tuesday, I'll go pick it back up. And then we're just waiting on the leaf springs, the rear lift blocks, and the U-bolts. And then the rear will be ready to go back together. So we're gonna be putting the rear back together first. And then once the rear is back together, hopefully the cradle and all the 4-link arms and all of that stuff will be done at Striker. Just still waiting on all of our suspension to come in from Striker. We've got to go pick it up. So there's going to be a vlog style video going to Striker Off-Road Designs and picking up our one-off cradle 4-link with traction bars and coilovers with the coilover conversion. And it should just be freaking awesome. So like I say at the end of all of my videos, always remember, guys, everybody starts out as a nobody. I hope you all are enjoying the truck build. Sorry I've not had a lot of content to post because we've just been waiting on parts. But as soon as all these parts get done, we're gonna be pumping out some awesome videos, and you all should see this truck do a complete transformation.